Broadcasting 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to turn 77 of A Worthy Opponent, a podcast based on the Blizzard game Hearthstone. I am Black Lace, and with me is Micmac. Hi, Micmac.
My greetings.
How are you?
I'm fine and dandy, just like sour candy.
What if you don't like sour candy?
Then I'm not that good. But I am good, though.
Okay. Autumn's Bane is also with us today. Autumn's Bane.
Demons are not angry most of the time. You have to play this card in order to really bring it out of them.
Oh, I'm stumped.
Oh my god.
I have to go look in the collection now.
Can't figure that one out. Other than I would guess my first place to look would be a Warlock card.
Yes, Demon Wrath.
Oh, you told us.
You took too long. We don't have a 3-hour show.
Jeez.
It's a 3 casting cost rare spell from the latest expansion, or solo adventure rather. Deal 2 damage to all non-demon minions.
Right, and that is, of course, not from this week's.
No, it's not. But I don't understand why this would make demons mad, because they're not the ones getting hurt.
Well, I think they're angry, so they're doing the hurt.
You think that would make them happy?
Yeah, you're right, actually. They like inflicting pain and suffering on people and things.
But it's got
doesn't
pretty
make
good
much sense,
artwork
no.
when you look at it
Yeah.
large.
Could you imagine that in gold? Flaming. Gorgeous.
Ooh.
Speaking of
Okay.
gold,
I thought you were going to say, speaking of flaming. Go ahead.
you know what I got this week, right?
Yes. I got something good, too, this week. We both got neat stuff this
Oh?
week.
What did we get?
Yours was far neater.
Yeah, it was. But you go first, because we're talking about your goldness. Hello? Oh. Long pause scared me.
I got the, what do you call the Medivh? I'm sorry, my phone was ringing. I was distracted.
Echo of Medivh?
Echo of Medivh in gold.
Oh, wow, nice.
And I didn't even have it before.
Right, I am going to discuss mine, and this was a I got to purchase my wing. I'm gonna work up to this. I've got to purchase my wing for my 700 gold, and then I'm like, oh, I have 300 gold left. I can buy 3 packs, so I bought 3 packs. I open up my first pack, and I'm going through them, and I love doing the hover thing. You have to hover over each card and see what color it glows before you start turning them over, and then you turn over like the crappy ones first, and then you turn over like the rare.
Yep.
Well, I got the golden glow. So, of course, I'm screaming, Autumn's Bane, come in here! And he comes in, and he's trucking in. He goes, I know what that is. I said, what? He goes, that's Dr. Boom. I said, okay. I turned it over. You know what it was?
Dr. Boom?
It was.
Wow!
I was so psyched. Yes, I did. I put him in 2 decks.
Wasn't he also gold?
No, he was not.
Oh, okay.
No. I had other
Awesome.
goldness in other packs, but I didn't get a gold Dr. Boom. But he was cool, and I did. You know, I've been saying I don't know what the hype is, but I put him in decks anyway, and yeah, he's pretty powerful. And in fact, he was in the deck that beat Nefarian. So I don't know if he had to have added to it. I mean, it wasn't in against the third boss, but we'll get there later. And yes, Black Lace actually did beat Nefarian. But he was in my priest deck, and boom. It was cool. I was very excited. So I've got Dr. Boom.
Nice, Dr.
And I didn't
Balance
have to craft him.
and that maniacal laugh that he's got.
Yeah.
You're probably one of the
So-
few people that have actually opened Dr. Boom as opposed to crafting him.
Crafting him. Yeah, I kind of sometimes get lucky that way. But I still need to craft Alexstrasza because someone sent me a really decent dragon deck and I want to try it out and I don't have her, so I'm about 200 gold away from crafting her.
Awesome.
I heard that the dragon decks have been kind of kicking butt. So I'm not sure if the call that Autumnsbane got was important enough to pull him away. So
I'm here.
oh, okay.
I didn't look at it.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the hidden laboratory. Yes.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. The newest of the solo adventures was the hidden laboratory, not to be confused with laboratory, which is where you go pee. This is not the same thing. This is the funniest and actually the most frustrating of most of the wings, actually. I thought I had a lot of fun with both the first and the second bosses. I had the least fun with the fourth boss, but I gotta say, I kind of flew through this wing. I don't know about you guys, but I one-shotted every boss but Nefarian, and then the Paladin challenge, I one-shotted that too, so I kind of flew through this one. But they were fun. Omnitron was the first one. And I want anybody who is going to be playing this wing has to do this. You have to greet him. Have you ever, either of you, have you talked to the bosses?
Not lately.
All the time.
Did you greet him?
I did. We had a very deep discussion and conversation about life and philosophical, views on things.
You're so full of shit. Okay, so when you actually greet him, I'm gonna do a spoiler, so everybody fast forward for a minute or two if you want to try this yourself and not
Blacklace. Anyone
What?
who listens to our show is looking for spoilers if they haven't already figured it out.
Well, this is just a silly one, and this one actually one of our listeners turned me on to. So, it was just really cute when you greet him. The first time you greet him, he says
Nothing?
no. He says Matrix initiate. The second time you greet him, he says attempting to connect. The third time you greet him, he says connection successful, downloading OS updates. Yes, you're dealing with a robot here. And next time you greet him, he goes update installed. Hello, hello, hello. Of course he's doing it in his Omnitron voice. It's really cute. And then after that, anytime you greet him, it's just you get the triple hello. But it's like he actually downloads it while you're talking to him if you just keep saying hi to him. It's cute. People, do your emotes to these bosses because they are still funny. So anyway, his hero power was to activate Arcanatron. And I started this, I made a mistake when I first started this. I accidentally played with a hunter. And I was like, oh crap, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do, my typical shaman. But instead of having a problem, somehow the very last turn he killed himself. I didn't even get the final blow in. He actually killed himself. So did you find when you fought him he killed himself, or was that a fluke?
I think that was just a fluke. I mean, do you know what happened? Like, what caused him to do that?
I know. I looked down at my laptop, away from my PC, to look at something that someone had pinged me on my laptop, and I looked back and he had been dead, and I had not. It was his turn, so I don't know what he did, but he killed himself. It was pretty interesting. I had him really low, but he casts these cards. They're 2/2 mechs that both players have spell damage +2 or different thing. I mean, it was a fun run. And again, I one-shot him with a hunter accidentally, so that was pretty cool. What about you guys?
I played my warlock against him and beat him in one shot, and don't remember anything more than that.
Well, there you go.
That's
I also one-shot him. I used my good old Control Warrior deck. First try, one shot, one kill, pretty much. Didn't have any trouble. What I was alarmed at, so he has a 5-mana, 10-attack taunt. And I saw it come down, and I'm like, oh crap, 10 attack and 5 mana, what the hell is this? Oh wait, he's only got 2 health. Why am I getting so up in arms about this? So
He is very good at filling the board, though.
yes.
I mean, there were creatures all over the place.
Yep. Yeah. So he
And
was
his hero
he
power
wasn't a
was
big deal.
4, actually. Did you notice that?
His hero power is 4?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I've got a 4 hero power.
Well,
came-
it
yeah.
changed. It went from 2, 4, 6,
Mhm.
8.
Yep. So it's definitely a different.
What do you mean by a 4 hero power?
4 mana.
Oh, a 4 mana hero
Yeah,
power.
the second time he casts the Arcanatron, it costs him 4 mana to do it. So he's actually cheating in the opposite.
No.
Inst-
I think what they're trying to do is this entire wing, I don't know why they don't name it what it really is, was the Blackrock Descent raid from Cataclysm, which, like all the other things from Vanilla, took place in Blackrock Mountain. And it was what we call a council fight in World of Warcraft, meaning there were multiple bosses that all shared health, and you had to take them all down. They all had different abilities. So, because that's why it says Omnitron Defense System. It's not just one boss. It's a bunch of
it's a whole bunch of mechs.
a bunch of robots. Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe that's to capture the feel of that it's got all these different powers of different costs.
Yeah, and I was, and it pumps you as well as him because his special ability, is giving everybody a +2. So what did you guys beat him with?
Control Warrior.
Hmm.
My
Honestly?
pride and joy.
Warlock.
Hunter? Warlock.
I said that.
I'm
I
sorry.
played him with the Warlock.
Well, I
and I
listen to you.
one-shotted
I'm your
him.
wife. Do I listen to you? Really?
And I only used the Warlock because that was the deck I had played most recently, so I said, let's try with this. I don't think I used the Warlock for any of the other bosses, so I said, let's try something different.
I found him to be pretty easy. Well, obviously, because I one-shot him, and I one-shot him with a class I don't usually play. But he was still fun. Shall we move on to the next one, or do you want to? Oh, actually, we should talk about what card he gives.
That we should.
Okay, so Omnitron gives the Volcanic Drake, which is a neutral card, and actually, all of the cards except for the Paladin challenge were neutral. Did you notice that?
Mm-hmm.
The whole wing gave neutral cards.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Autumnsbane, why don't you talk about Omnitron's card?
Sure. So the 6 casting cost common 6/4 dragon has an ability, not a battle cry, but an ability. Costs 1 less for each minion that died this turn. Now, I have since made a Paladin Dragon deck, as I said I was going to. That deck in casual, at least, because I don't play ranked this early in the month. I've gone like 14 wins and 2 losses in the past few days.
That's great.
Not counting when I went up against Nefarian with it. But
So do you have Alex?
this
Razzle?
dragon, no, I don't. This dragon, this Volcanic Drake, I've played it several times, and for some reason, only one of those times did I ever make use of this ability. And his casting costs will light up with different numbers depending on where you are in the game. So I keep, it's my opponent's turn. My opponent's knocking out my minions, and I watch its casting cost go down, down, down. Of course, I can't cast on my opponent's turn, and then it's my turn, and so occasionally I will trade minions to make this come out quicker, and it's paid off, a couple of times. So maybe you've got a minion that's been wounded, he's going to die soon, so you take out the other guy's minion, and boom, that 6 casting cost goes down to a 4. Or if you AoE a Murloc deck, it probably comes out as a 0. But I'm using the card. I'm liking it.
Yeah, I like the card a lot, especially for arena play, because you figure in arena, what you'll do is you'll trade minions. You'll have your minion attack another minion. Both minions die, say. Now this costs 4 mana, and you have a 6 you have a 6/4 for 4 mana. Great value.
Well, the other value
put
is
this-
the hidden value is I keep, if he shows up in my opening hand, even though he's got a 6 casting cost, 6 is still one of the cheapest dragons in the game, and I'm playing a dragon deck, so I have several other minions that benefit from him sitting in my hand. So I may have gotten more benefit out of him sitting in my hand than actually playing him, but again, I like it. Black Lace?
Yeah, I was going to say he'd also be decent with, the synergies with things like Unleash the Hounds. When your hounds come out on your turn, and then you can attack with them immediately and take things out with yours. So your hounds are dying, and then the opponent's hounds are dying. So his casting cost goes less and less and less, and before you know it, he's free.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really decent card, whether or not it's in a dragon deck.
Yeah, it can be very, very powerful.
Yep, I like it. I like it a lot. And it is worth being a common. I've seen epics that aren't as good as this by far.
And when you double his attack with your paladin card that doubles attack, it's really nice to come across for 12 with him. Just saying.
Yeah.
I feel like this should be a rare, if anything.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent common. That's all I can
It
say.
is.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the neutral cards in my library here, and the next card over is Rend Blackhand, and it's a shame that this is better than he is.
Yes, I know.
The next boss was Maloriak. Is that how you pronounce it? I always have a problem with that.
Yes.
Maloriak. I had a lot of fun with him. I've got to say, I had some of the most fun with him, and I was really glad that I read the the text of what he does before I played my shaman deck, because what he does is his passive hero power is and so he doesn't have an active hero power. He's not going to zap you every turn or call a card out every turn. Passively, whenever a minion is summoned, swap attack and health. So the very first thing I said when I saw what he does is, no freaking way am I playing a shaman, because all my totems would die instantly.
Correct.
So what I did is I played the hunter that I played the first game. I said, well, he's already out there. Let me try it. And again, one shot. But he was fun. I really had fun with him because he just kept flipping it.
Hindsight is 2020. That's a place to put your Nerubian eggs.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, instantly activate.
That's true. That's true, because they'd kill themselves and become 4/4 minions instantly. That's very
And the
good.
4/4 would be reversed to a 4/4. So,
All right. You had it going there, and you had to go to that next step. So I had a lot of fun with this. How about you?
I was challenged for the first game. I went to Handlock, just a warlock with a bunch of giants and a lot of cards being drawn, and that was pretty much my go-to besides my Control Warrior deck for most of this adventure. But I lost the first game against him because of Duplicate. He had Duplicate out, and he had the 6/6 Draconid Crusher, the one that becomes a 9/9 if there's 15 health or less. I gave him, I think, let's see, 1, 2, I think he had 2. I gave him 2 from Duplicate. I just couldn't deal with those big minions. Even my Shadow Flame, which kills one of my minions, and it deals that damage of the attack of that minion that I killed to all my enemies' minions. My 8/8 giants only have 8 attack. This Draconid Crusher has 9 health, so they were left alive. But I made a custom Paladin deck with a lot of heals in it, Sword of Justice, trying to get almost like some zoo-like minions, like with some higher stats than their mana cost, and I was able to win with Uther, the Lightbringer.
Good. So it took you 2.
2 times. Yep.
Okay. Honestly, did you one-shot this guy?
With my hunter on turn 9.
Not bad.
There you go.
Nothing more to say?
Now, for some reason,
Okay.
I don't know why I wrote down the turn I killed him on. I'm guessing my warlock probably went past turn 10 because I didn't find it necessary to write down the turn, but my hunter on turn 9. And again, I have like no memory of the fight other than the fact that it was just done too quick.
Oh, you don't remember the flipping or anything like that? Oh boy, it was fun. You should do it again.
I was going to make a priest deck to go against this guy, but I was making it and I'm like, nah, I don't really want to do it. I figured that priest minions have a lot of health, therefore when they get switched they'll have a lot of attack, and I can just quickly get them down to 0 health and beat them. But I just wanted to steer away from that for some reason.
Because they were priests.
Possibly because it was priest.
Could be. Micmac, why don't you tell us about the card that Maloriak calls out, gives us as a reward, the Blackwing Corruptor.
Surely. So Blackwing Corruptor is
it's place, not Shirley. We were discussing Airplane earlier. You're still talking about it.
Surely you can't be serious. I'm serious, and please don't call me Shirley. So the Blackwing Corruptor is a 5 mana, 5 attack, 4 health, common battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, deal 3 damage. This is very similar to the Shaman base card, the Fire Elemental that deals 3 damage to a random enemy, but it's available for anybody. It's a decent card. Yeah, there's not much more to say about it than
Dragon
that.
deck.
Yeah, it has to be a dragon deck,
yeah.
And it has to, to get the full value, you have to have a dragon in your hand. So dragons cost a lot of mana typically. You're more than likely going to have one in your hand.
Right. And again, when you're building your decks, you're going to be looking for this kind of stuff. I mean, so you're not just going to stick it in a deck that doesn't need this kind of thing. You're going to make sure you've got your dragons in there. And that's what makes them work. Boys and girls. Autumn's Pain, what do you think of this card?
Which card again?
Blackwing Corruptor.
The Blackwing Corruptor.
Yeah, I absolutely freaking love this card. He's
in your dragon deck, right?
He's in my Dragon Pally deck, and he is so awesome. I just call him out, and a minion dies, or I call him and his brother out, and 2 minions die, or I call him out near the end of the game and give a lot of damage to my opposing player. It's just, and then you come across for 5 damage the next turn. It's just what's not to love about this. And again, it shouldn't have a white gem on there. This is a great card.
I noticed that a lot of these commons in the last round are decent cards.
But here's the caveat: only if you're playing a dragon heavy deck.
Right, but
which
then again, you won't put it in a card deck that it's it's as you say, situational. But your situationalness is you're going to have dragons.
A lot of these cards remind me of the old Mac versus PC argument that I heard a comedian tell once, and I wish I remember the comedian's name to give him credit. But he said that, the Apple computer is like a car that gets 100 miles per gallon, and it never breaks down, and you never have to put air in the tires, and it's always the right temperature, but it can only ride on one highway. So
this can only ride on the Dragon Highway.
So these cards are like that. They're really, really, really great. Like 1% of the time.
The Dragon Highway.
Yep.
Okay. Ready to move on to the next one?
Ready for action.
Atramedes. Atramedes is basically his ability was to equip a weapon which continues to grow when your opponent plays cards. I read that one and I was like, okay, let me do something. I didn't know, you don't know the first time you play it what's going to happen, what they're going to give you, or what kind of things happen and what cards you're getting. I played a paladin. I made it. I threw some acidic swamp oozes in there specifically because I read that this guy's weapon is going to be getting more and more powerful, with every card I played, only to find out
That you never needed them.
right, because he gave you 3 cards that destroys the opponent's weapon. So somehow in your draw you get 3 cards that destroy your opponent's weapons. So I didn't even need my acidic swamp ooze. But here's something. Did you notice when you played him at the end of Maloriak, Nefarian was cursing out his minions. And he's like, I shall call you the slayer of stupid, incompetent, and disappointing minions.
Yes.
Well, your name changes to that. Did you notice that?
I did notice that. It was pretty funny.
So instead of seeing Black Lace, I saw slayer of stupid, incompetent, and disappointing minions. And I cracked up. But anyway, so back to explaining this. He gave me the 3 cards which would destroy my opponent's weapon. So that was kind of a gimme, considering they're giving me a chance to combat what I'm supposed to be fighting against. And again, I one-shot him with the paladin. It was fun, but not as much fun as watching everybody's cards shift from Maloriak. Autumnzane, why don't you go first with this one?
Okay.
How did you do?
So, at first I was a little scared and feeling challenged, and I thought it was going to be a much tougher fight than the first one, until they gave me those 3 cards, which were, I don't know. I wish they had given me only like 1 or 2 of those cards, because it was too easy. The challenge was, when do I destroy the weapon? Because you don't destroy it immediately. You let it build up a little, and then when you think it's going to be a major threat, you say, okay, goodbye. And I beat him with my warrior on turn 8, and yeah, I one-shotted him too. So 3 bosses in a row that were all kind of anticlimactic. I mean, I guess it's fun to have your opponent have this hero ability, which is just mind-boggling, and then give you the button to press to completely disrespect it.
See, that's okay. I'm gonna go. I know, Micmac, I want you to talk about this too, but I'm gonna jump real quickly to a complaint. Not a whine. I'm not whining about the next boss, but I am gonna complain. On this easier boss, you get 3 cards that will combat his ability. The last wing, we got on Lord Victor Nefarious, I believe you had Ragnaros throwing special cards at you that were 0 casting costs to help you beat that boss.
But that was fun.
Right, okay, but still, you had extra cards thrown at you to help you beat the boss on that one. You had extra cards thrown at you to beat this pretty easy boss if you prepared for it and did what I did, like, and not knowing I was going to get those cards, making sure you had your oozes. But the last did no such thing. The last boss, yeah, I'll just say did no such thing. The one that we needed the most help with gave us nothing, which I guess
you're jumping ahead too far.
Is Nefarian's way. So, but I said I was going to jump ahead, and then I was going to go back to Micmac because I never leave Micmac out.
Oh, never.
Never.
I'm like a wet cat in the rain. I just start to melt if I'm left alone.
Why would you leave your cat
Cats
out in
don't
the rain?
melt.
This one does.
You left a cat out in the rain? That's the cake out in the rain.
That's only in MacArthur Park.
Cake
Yes.
cat.
So what did you think of the wing?
It was pretty simple. I didn't have a problem with it. I played it very conservatively. So I didn't realize, just like you two, that I would be getting 3 cards that would destroy my opponent's weapon. So I put in Harrison Jones, that destroys a weapon, and the Ooze, which also destroys a weapon. I put 2 of those in there. And I think I used 1 or maybe both Oozes, but I played it very conservatively. I took my time. I made trades and went to face. I wasn't too aggressive. It was I thought it was too easy because we got those cards. I wasn't expecting to get that at all, and his weapon wasn't as strong as I was
Right.
expecting it to be. But anyways, yeah, no problem at all.
So,
None
do you think it
whatsoever.
would have been more fair, or at least more reasonable, to have given us one, and then you just had to hold on to that and know the right time to use it?
Yeah.
That,
Yes.
that would have seemed fair, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I know in heroic mode they don't give you any of those cards at all. But I think in normal mode, 3 was too much. 3 was way too easy. But you know what? You know why they did it? They were just, trying to pepper us up a little bit for the next the next boss. It's like, oh yeah, you got this, no problem. Look what you just did to the last guy. You can steamroll them.
Yeah.
Well,
and
that's
look
part
what
of the
you did to
problem,
the last
isn't it?
3 guys.
To have 3 of the easiest bosses in the entire expansion come right before the single hardest.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The card that is given from this wing is the Draconid Crusher. 6 casting cost, 6/6 dragon. Its battle cry: if your opponent has 15 or less health, gain +3/+3. I guess in a dragon deck, this would be a pretty awesome card. I'm not as impressed as with the other ones, but Autumn Zane, I know you've been playing the dragon deck. Is it in your dragon deck?
Oh, absolutely. I have 2 of them, and I use them all the time. The thing about the dragon deck is, at least my dragon deck, because I didn't go on the web and look at what other people were doing, I just built my own without ever having seen another dragon deck. And in fact, I still have not seen another dragon deck since this expansion came out. Not one of the people I've played has really had any dragons. But even if you don't get the +3/+3, I get good use out of this card. A 6/6 minion is pretty tough. It's immune to the big game hunter if you don't get the bonus. And if you do get the bonus, your opponent's not going to last all that much longer anyway. Especially if you have a card like your next dragon costs 2 less to play. It's worked out well for me, and I like it, again, in a dragon deck. And I would say 80% of the time I don't get that bonus. It's really nice when that 20% is there, though. I like them. I'm using them. I'm having good luck with them. And again, with the dragon deck I'm using, the beginning of the game is slow. I'm not getting too much done. I'm not doing too much damage. I'm taking a little damage. I have a couple of Annoyatrons out there to mitigate some of it. But past turn 5 or 6, these things just start flying out hot and heavy, like an entire dragon swarm coming down. I somehow managed to survive face hunters with this deck, only to turn around and annihilate them in another couple of turns.
Nice.
So I do like this card. It complements the dragon deck well, and again, my dragon deck. But I don't know if I would. Well, if your opponent has 15 or less health, I think this would be a decent card in Arena. What do you think, McMac?
I love this card, especially in Arena. So I did an Arena run for the first time in, I don't even know how long. And I was Priest, and I drafted this card, the Draconid Crusher. And sometimes in Arena, you get into a talk deck battle where, maybe each hero has 1 minion. Their health could be a little bit low, and both players have 0 cards in their hand. And you're sort of just taking the card at the top, seeing what it is, just playing it blindly. For the most part, you do that. This guy is, basically king of the castle because he's common, so you'll see quite a few of them. And my opponent had less than 15 health, 6 mana. I dropped down a 9/9. Great card. I love this card. If I could be a card in Hearthstone, it would be very similar to this.
And it is one of the few dragon-related, if you have a dragon or blah, 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 of the group of dragon cards we've gotten, this doesn't require you to have dragons in your hand. So that makes it even better for non-dragon decks.
Yep. So think of the this is going deep into the database of our brains here, but think of the War Golem, okay? The 7 mana 7/7. This is a 6 mana 6/6, okay? And he's got a really, really cool battle cry that can make him into a 9/9 fairly easily. So he's a really good card.
Yeah, again, shouldn't be a common.
No, probably not, but they are.
But the fact that it is a common, as you said, makes him a terror in Arena.
Yeah.
So, that brings us to Nefarian
Again.
Again. All I can say is what a bastard. Um, I'll tell you. He called out more minions than God. And he whittled me down little by little. I first tried a rogue against him, then I tried a mage against him. Then I figured if he's gonna have all those freaking little minions, I will try my shaman. So I tried my shaman 3 times because the RNGs weren't working for me, or at least that's what I was trying to tell myself. That didn't work either. I got my mage, and when he gets down too low, he all of a sudden becomes another boss. He becomes Onyxia, and he's of course sitting in the, it's like you've got 2 bosses on the screen. He's sitting off on the right, and you've got Onyxia in front of you, and you're facing her, and all of a sudden there's 15 hit points, and now you've got a new boss to fight. And I got her to 1. I got so excited, I proceeded to kill her. And I was like, yes! And I was screaming and jumping up and down, and all of a sudden there's a new boss there. And I only had 1 hit point left. Game over.
Well, Nefarian didn't go away. He's flying above there.
So he flew back, and he annihilated everything I had, including my Dr. Boom. Just perfectly healthy Dr. Boom sitting there. Boom. Gone. And then you start from scratch. So I was like, what the hell? So I tried again with the priest, and then I won. So it actually took me 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different times before I beat him. It was not as frustrating as 2 or 3 weeks ago, but you know what? This goes beyond the normal game. Yes, they're supposed to be challenging, but you had to fight 3 bosses in one game with your 30 hit points when they had shields up to give them extra health. They reset their health twice, and they did a complete devastation of everything on the board. I mean, and he had every card known to man to annihilate your entire fighting force.
Not to mention, when Onyxia is attacking you, he's flying above, still breathing fire down on you.
Yes, he's still casting fire down on you. So, I found it very frustrating, and I did beat it, and I just didn't find it. I mean, I don't want to use the word cheat. I use that way too much, but it's a bit much. I found it to be a bit much. Micmac, how did you feel about it?
So
you probably loved it.
I almost beat him the first try. I used my Handlock Warlock deck, and I went through all the phases. I just kept winning. So I got him down to 3 health, and I had a minion on the board. I forgot what it was, but he was going to die next turn. I had 1 health left. He had an empty board and 0 cards in his hand. This is my first time going up against him. What does he draw into that could possibly win him the game? He drew into Dragon's Breath, the Mage card. 5 mana. Deal 4 damage. Cost 1 less for each minion that died this turn. He went right to my face, and I died. Oh, no.
No. I'm telling you, anything he needed to pick, he got. He needed the card. It was suddenly in his hand. I just don't know. And I want so badly to get a dev on the show, because my biggest question is, does the computer pre-pick his hand like it has our hand?
They will never answer that.
I know.
They will not answer that question.
Because it seems...
You don't cheat and then confess.
I don't know if it's just that perfect that he always gets what he wants. But I did beat him. It was just... I don't think I'd want to go through that again. Autumn's Bane, do you want to say anything at all?
I know Micmac's experience because I played a warrior against him the first time, and I had him down to 7 life, and then he just annihilated me. And That's all I'm going to say on the subject because I don't want another 1 or 2 star review at iTunes talking about how we complain. So
'Cause we're whining.
I won't say another word about the rest of my experience.
Okay, back to Micmac. So you almost beat him, got him down to 3, and he had you down to 1, and he hit you to the face. How did you do after that?
So I was pretty pumped up. I wasn't upset. I was like, wow, I almost beat this guy on my first try, first attempt. I'm going to do it this next time. Same thing. I queued with my handlock deck, and I got crushed my second game. Then I thought, well, I'm going to go with my warrior deck. Went to the warrior deck, and that was the quickest loss I've had in quite some time. Then I went back to the handlock deck. So now, this is my 4th time now, and I just didn't have any luck again. The one hero that I very, very, very rarely play in Hearthstone is the Druid. So I made a ramp Druid deck. I just got a bunch of big boys, a bunch of legendary minions, innervates, and wild growth so I can get them out real quick, really, really fast, a bunch of taunts, and I won. I won fairly easily. That was the secret. It was my greetings. Good old
was-
Malfurion.
There you go. So how many took you? What, 5? You said.
5 total, yeah, and the
And it
Druid
took me
was
7.
7, yeah. I mean, this
Yeah.
was tough. Okay, do you think this was harder or easier than Kel'Thuzad from Naxxramas?
It was. Oh, Kel, I can't remember
I know.
yesterday.
I know. I put you on the
Come
spot.
on.
Sorry.
I would. Yeah, I have. Who's Kel'Thuzad? What? Yeah.
Who in the what now?
No, I can't. Can't answer that question because I would have to really try to remember that game so many months ago. I don't remember. I'm
I thought
sorry.
that Kel'Thuzad was more difficult. I think it took me longer or more attempts to beat him than Nefarian.
I don't think there's been any boss in any of these solo adventures more difficult than this one.
Kel'Thuzad. I'm trying to figure. I'm looking at our past shows. I honestly don't remember it, so I can't answer that question. I'm sorry. Fail. Black Lace fails.
Womp womp. All
right. So, that being said, Nefarian being a tough little cheats, it was challenging, and I appreciate challenging. I just think they sometimes go over the edge on that. The Pally was the next one. It was Paladin versus Omnitron. Again, he activates his little.
Oh wait, we
mechs.
gotta talk about the card.
Oh, the card. Nefarian. Surprise.
There were 2: the Dragonkin Sorcerer and Nefarian.
Right. All right. So, Armsbane, do you want to talk about this dragon, the Dragonkin Sorcerer?
Standing by.
Standing by.
Beep boop boop beep beep. Downloading OS update.
Beep beep.
Dragonkin Sorcerer.
Hello.
Forecasting cost. It's a common.
Yes.
3/5.
Yes.
Whenever you target this minion with a spell, gain +1/+1, and it's a dragon. So, what do you guys think?
Well, you're gonna put him in a priest dragon deck. Oh my god. You know how you can pump them? So of course you're gonna add a +2 to it to make it a 3/7. So now it's actually a 4/8. That card could be very, very menacing.
Or healing it.
Yes. Well, okay, but not your hero power. It's got to be with an actual spell.
With a spell.
Right.
Like circle.
Yep.
Well, you have to target it. So
Yep, circle healing.
Yeah, I guess there aren't too many that are targetable heals.
yeah, like circle healing is a heal, but you're not really targeting this minion, so it wouldn't go off in that sense.
Yeah, I think it's a decent
the
card. I
the
really
druid
do.
has, yeah. No, any of the heal spells would be overkill on this guy anyway, so you wouldn't waste them.
There are a lot that you can do with this. And oh my gosh, think of putting him in a dragon mech deck. And now you've got your little cards, the extra 1 casting cost. Oh, the brain has failed me again.
Spare parts.
Thank you. Spare parts that you are throwing on him, and those pump him even more. So now you're giving him +1/+1 with stealth. Yeah. I could see him becoming a big menace.
Black Lace, I think you read my mind. I think you
Did
read
I?
my mind, or you were over my shoulder watching me play Arena, because I also drafted this card in Arena, and I drafted a Mechanical Yeti. Situation is, I have this Dragonkin Sorcerer who's a 3/5 and a Mechanical Yeti. I had to clear the board, and I wasn't too sure how I was going to do this, and then it hit me that the Yeti will give me a spare part, and I can hopefully target the Dragonkin Sorcerer instead of freezing it, but hopefully get a good spare part, and I can make the trade.
Right.
And that is what happened, and that is what won me the game.
Awesome.
You got the
Awesome,
stealth
awesome.
spare part?
I think it was a plus health or something. It was a beneficial spare part for me.
Or there's also a spare part that is +1 to damage too.
Right.
So yeah, definitely could be a dragon mech deck could really rule in this. So yeah, I think yet again, this is a comment that is just, I think they forgot to color the stone. I think it's white, but they forgot to put in the dye. It should be like blue or purple. Well, not purple, but
maybe
blue.
they're not coloring them based on the power of the card. Maybe it's how often they want to see the card.
Because it's a 3/5?
Maybe it's how often they want to see the card played. If this is something they think is going to be really invigorating in Arena, maybe they're downgrading what the rarity is. Because let's face it, that's the only reason they have rarities. They're soulbound cards. You can't DE them.
That's true. All right, so that moves us on to the legendary card Nefarian. 9 casting cost, 8/8, yet another dragon. Battlecry, add 2 random spells to your hand from your opponent's class. Autumn's Bane, you don't have this yet. If you did, I would think that you would definitely be putting it into your dragon deck, no?
Of course, there's no dragon I wouldn't put into my dragon deck if I had it, other than Deathwing.
Because you don't like having the change your hit points?
No, Deathwing makes me get rid of everything in my hand.
Oh.
And that's just not a beneficial
Yeah.
card.
Oh, that's right. He's the
for this
12/12.
deck.
I was getting him mixed up with someone else.
Yeah, so all other dragons I would take. So of course
this is my take on this. This is giving everybody else a chance to pretend you're a priest. Because
Yes.
you're grabbing,
It's a thought steal.
Exactly. It's a dragon thought stealer.
Yeah, but
so,
here's the
yeah,
thing.
I like this.
Understand that this takes 2 random spells from your opponent's class, not
Correct.
from their
Not in
hand,
their deck.
not from their deck.
Correct.
So it could be taking epic and rare cards that your opponent doesn't even own, and
or legendary.
that's pretty nice. I mean, you could get crap stuff too that doesn't help, as Mac said in the last turn that warriors don't have really phenomenal cards that are spells. So and this has spells. They're not minions. They're spells. So depending on what you're playing against, but this card is going to be great when you're playing against a druid or a mage or a priest, a paladin even. But
Well,
I don't know.
Just
I
name
don't
all
know
the
if
classes.
I don't. No, I didn't. I named a few. I don't think I want some overload cards in my hand.
So I use
Oh,
this
that's
in my warrior deck, and I've played probably 10 games or so with this card in there, and it only came out once. I was playing against the shaman. The 2 spells that I got, well, the first one was Rock Bite a Weapon. Not bad. Give a friendly character +3 attack for 1 mana. That's pretty good.
With
And-
a warrior, so
yeah.
that's even better.
Right, yeah, so it actually, okay, that's not too bad. And I got Totemic Might. Give your totems +2 health. Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, there you go. Wasted card.
Oh yeah.
Didn't I just say
That's
probably
great.
not so great to play against a shaman?
Uh-huh. That's awesome. I think it's a good card though. I think it really is a very good card. And the artwork is gorgeous too.
And that's not the first time I've hit the nail on the head with predicting what these cards might do or might not do. Micmac?
I would just have to say so.
Why don't you tell our listening audience
Oh
what
yeah.
happened?
Oh, this is crazy. So, some of you may remember I spoke about the Hungry Dragon. I was a big fan of this card. 5/6, 4 mana. Is it 5/6, 5 mana? No, I think it's 5/6 for 4 mana, if I remember correctly. Oh, please help me. Oh yeah, for 4 mana. Oh, geez, wow, I had a heart attack there for a minute.
Yep, 5/6 for 4.
All right, so I played this, and my opponent was a paladin. And what did I give him? As Autumn's Bane said, I gave him a web spinner. And Autumn's Bane said, what's going to happen is you're going to play the Hungry Dragon, you're going to get a web spinner, and he's going to get a King Crush.
King Crush.
I'm like, yeah, well, all right. So, first
That
of all, he
doesn't
gets the web
sound like
spinner.
me, by the way. That does not sound like me.
Neither.
I need to get my ears checked, I suppose. But so he plays a web spinner, and I didn't really clear it right away. I left it be, and a few turns down the road, it ended up dying. Card went into his hand. I kind of forgot that he even had that card, and maybe 10 turns went in arena. I ended up winning pretty much hands down. But the last turn that he plays a card. The whole board starts to shake. I'm like, oh crap, what the hell is this? Oh my god, King Crush! He played King Crush. He's a paladin. I'm like, how did this happen? I'm like, oh, that freaking web spinner. Oh my god, Hungry Dragon. It happened.
That's kind
the
of
prophecy
scary.
came true.
Yes, our prophetic Autumn's Bane.
Yeah, I had to send a tweet out like immediately when that happened.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I told you, he walked into the room and he predicted Dr. Boom, and there he was.
You should go play the lottery.
Seriously, please, hon, go out.
Go out.
Okay, the last thing, of course, is the hero challenge, which was the Paladin to Omnitron. I one-shot it. I don't even remember it, really. I don't remember it. How did you guys do with the Paladin challenge? You guys one-shotted it too, yes?
Yeah.
Seriously, you're asking me that question?
Not asking you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm gonna
like
crawl
most
under
of-
my black rock.
under your Black Rock Mountain.
Yes.
Hearthstone Adventure. So, aside from the Maze Challenge, a lot of these, and maybe the Rogue, they weren't really that memorable. I thought that they were super easy.
Right.
Well, what's hard to remember about Unstable, Portal, and Prep?
And Gang Up, yeah. I know.
Yeah. No, Paladin was pretty basic.
Yeah, no, they were pretty easy. So, if you had to think back, well, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't ask this question. I was going to say, if you could think back to Next Ramus, but I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. I think the Web Spinner Challenge from Next Ramus was still the best one.
That was fun.
It was. I liked the Mage Challenge from this one, the Unstable Portals. I mean, it was silly, and it was easy. And sometimes just stupid silly is fun. And that's what it was.
I don't think there was a class challenge that I actually did that I didn't one-shot in this expansion. But if you think back, the Warrior Challenge was so subject to RNG and so broken that they had to nerf it. Do you recall?
No.
Yeah. Remember, I was fuming because I couldn't beat the Warrior because the RNG kept giving him cards to annihilate me. And I don't remember the details. I just remember it was like harder than some of the wing bosses. And I eventually beat it, and then like 2 days later, they nerfed it. Or they fixed it. Because it was just not randomizing properly, and people couldn't beat it because of the cards that were being dealt to the Warrior. We had nothing like that this time. These were
No.
just all plain and simple piece of cake.
Yeah, I think there were 2 of them that I didn't one-shot, but I got them the second time. I think it was I know the Warlock, I think I had to replay, and I think I had to do a Druid I had to replay, but the rest of them I think I one-shotted. But the card that comes out of this is the only card on this wing that is actually specific to a class. Solemn Vigil. And Micmax, your turn.
It's 5 mana, common, draw 2 cards. So right there, you're like, really? That seems like it's way too expensive. However, It costs 1 less for each minion that died this turn. Really powerful. If you say combine this with Equality, Consecrate, clear the board, I mean you could play this for free. Someone did that against me. He was able to somehow clear a bunch of my minions and his minions, and yeah, he drew 2 cards for free, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's actually not a bad little combination right there.
I'm not that impressed with this card because I would rather spend 5 mana on something else. That, I mean, there are other cards that help you draw cards. I would rather have, if I'm going to spend 5 mana on it, something that's going to thump them upside the head.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do agree. It's card draw, which is nice, but at the same time, you're having a card in your deck that doesn't do anything but draw cards, so it's sort of like, why is this here? You know, you could have a Gnomish Inventor or something in there instead.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a risk because maybe all your minions aren't going to die right away, and you're going to be holding on to this card because it's kind of expensive. So this one is okay to be a common.
Yep, I agree.
It's not mispainted. Honestly, any opinions on the card? Even though you don't have it yet, you can still chime in.
It's a putza.
It's a putza.
It's a pizza?
Poots.
Poots.
Poots. It's a piece of shit.
Oh.
I really do not like this card at all. I would never use it. It's totally RNG related.
Okay. That
I already said that there are cards that I like that are dependent on things dying that haven't been proccing for me. Remember?
I have one that
but at least I get minions so yeah, you'd get 2 cards. So I suppose I made the same thing. What is that? Arcane Intellect that the mage has?
Yep, I use it all the time.
And since like almost our first episode, I've been saying I don't like to put a card in my deck that basically trades that card for another card and lets me draw one other. It just does not an equitable trade. I'd rather put something in my hand that I know I'm going to use rather than just a Hail Mary pass.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing. Arcane Intellect, 3 mana, guaranteed draw 2 cards. You know it's only going to cost 3 mana to get those 2 cards. I have more of a chance playing Arcane Intellect than I would the Solemn Vigil. Of course, when we're talking Mage versus Paladin here, you can't interchange them.
But when you compare this to the other card that the Paladin got, the Dragon Consort is phenomenal if you play dragons. So
Right.
This is kind of like, the Hunter cards this time around. I'm not going to probably ever play any of those Hunter cards, and I'm probably not going to play any of the Pally cards outside of a Dragon deck.
Hmm.
I mean,
So
some of the other classes got some really cool stuff. The Warrior cards were great. The Mage cards were pretty decent. Even the Rogue cards were phenomenal. It just does not seem like it was a even distribution of. I mean, that Volcanic Lumberer that Druid gets. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, we are at the top of our hour once again. Or is it the bottom? I guess it's the bottom.
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 Yep. Bottoms up. Anyway, so we're not going to get to emails again. We do have. I'm saving them. I've got 3 now that I want to talk about. Violet Fire, one of our very, very first listeners, sent us a new email and actually asked an incredible question that we've never covered: weapons. We're going to address that email probably for an entire show next week. No, not next week. In the future, because next week is going to be a special guest from the winner of the tourney that's going to be this coming weekend. So, since we're talking about tourneys, Honest Bane, that's
First I just want to tell Violet Fire, if you can get really warm clothes cheap where you are, do so.
Right.
Because you're going to need them.
Okay, also a snowblower is important, and winter tires. She will know
Right,
what we're talking
snow
about.
tires.
Snow tires and a snowblower. She'll know what we're talking about.
All right, so the tournament, the deadline is 2 days from now. But we have 21 participants so far, and we said we can have up to 32. So people are holding back, or I don't know, but
Could be
Set-
summertime. Well, springtime.
maybe that's it. Maybe that the temperatures have finally hit 80. People are not playing Hearthstone. I don't know, but yeah, people, if you want in, this is your last chance. Send in those emails to wherever Black Lace tells you to email.
awhearthstone@gmail.com.
I knew what it is. I just didn't want to be redundant. And it's we've got a lot of the letters I'm getting are a mix of old timers saying can't wait to do it again, and new people saying can't wait to do it the first time. So there's a lot of excitement, but people,
Yep.
please contact us. I want to get you on the list.
Absolutely. Card backs have changed because today is the 4th of May, so we all have our cupcakes, and I'm playing with my cupcake. I like my cupcake.
Cupcakes.
Cupcakes. Ninja is going to be, and I said this, we had the pirates, now we're going to have the ninjas, so we got the ninja card back. I would have liked to have seen more done with this card back. I know the colors are great because they're black and they're silver and they're gold and they're red and they're all awesome colors. But and they've got a shuriken in the top and bottom portions of the card. But overall, not impressed. I like my cupcake better. So far, my cupcake and I think my Maraude are my two favorites.
You using a cupcake?
I am using my cupcake.
I'm not.
Micmac's gonna be using that ninja card, aren't you?
I'm definitely gonna be using that ninja card when it comes out. But I'm currently still using my Sellout Molten Core card back, which is pretty sweet. All the
with
lava, all the stone.
Oh,
with the
that's right.
fire slug trails.
Yeah, that's the one.
Fire slugs. So, Micmac, you had a question for us, right? Didn't you say you had something to ask us?
Yeah, just real quick. So now that the adventure's out and it's already over for the most part, people are still doing it. But if Blizzard gave you the choice of either adventure with cards or just an expansion, like we saw with Goblins vs. Gnomes, what would you pick? Did you like the adventure that much that you would love to see one, or would
that's
you?
Tough.
Yeah, it is.
Not tough for me. Give me an actual expansion with new cards, please. Ones that I don't have to spend grueling hours trying to unlock.
Oh, I can't. I think I'm actually gonna say I like unlocking wings. I like not knowing what's going to be coming at me. I don't like the Kobayashi Maru scenarios that sometimes feel like I'm playing against. But I like unlocking the new wings for unknown riches. And I like playing pre-made blast cards against other decks. I kind of like it. I like seeing what they're going to throw at us next. So unlike Autumn's Vein, I'm actually going to say the adventures. See, you got one of each from us.
So I'm the tiebreaker then, I suppose.
Which way would you go?
I would have to lean with the expansions. I prefer having more cards. The thing about the expansion is that, so the expansion comes out, and if you don't have money, you have to use your gold. Just like an adventure, I suppose, but you're not guaranteed any particular card, whereas with the adventure,
You're not guaranteed any card.
Correct, yeah. Unless you want to
you gotta win them.
Dust it. Well, yeah, in that sense, yes, you're right. But basically, if you unlock the wing, you beat the boss, you get the card. Whereas
But you're not guaranteed any card.
True.
Unless, yes, you have to go through the wing and beat every boss to get the cards.
But you have the ability to get it. And whereas with the expansion, if you want a particular card, you have to hope and cross your fingers, open up a pack, that you're going to get that card that you want. Or
But
have
you
enough dust
can
saved
craft
up.
it. You can't
You
craft. You cannot craft Nefarian unless you unlock the wing. There's the difference.
That's
I-
true.
It may take me months, but I can craft Dr. Boom. I cannot craft Nefarian.
But with that said,
that's
I'd rather
a
have the
tough
expansion.
question.
Yeah, no, I'm just playing all sides here. That nothing is guaranteed either way.
Right.
Well,
But I
Blizzard
think
did a great
I
job
like,
with this, though.
yeah, they did, and I like it. And we get new boards this way too.
Oh, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And with the expansions too, though.
Yeah, that's right. We got
Yeah,
new
that's
boards
true.
with the
That's
expansion.
true. Okay, so anything else
but
to
the-
add, guys? Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
just a little twist on his answer. I want a new expansion next time, and probably most of the time. But that doesn't mean I don't want to see adventures. So maybe like 2 expansions and then an adventure, 2 expansions and then an adventure, that type of deal.
Gotcha. Well, it looks like
Cool,
they're going to be
cool.
alternating between adventure and expansion, adventure, expansion.
I'm hoping they do. All right, so we're going to wrap up the night with how to get in touch with us. You can follow us on Twitter at A Worthy Opponent. You can listen to us and watch. Are you going to continue doing the streaming your stuff, Micmac?
Oh yeah, there's a lot
Okay.
of decks that still need to be tested. I just have a
Yep.
backup.
Yep, and then so
Well,
that's
the
what you're
wings
going to
got
start
in the
doing.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to start playing with people, playing with people's decks, and actually letting us watch.
That's right. You guys get to watch it now. So many decks, so little time.
So Twitch TV, Holosuite Media, on Monday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You can listen to our silliness on live, and watch Xander play with people's decks from now on. And then, of course, we have
Xander?
not Xander. We used to watch Xander. Micmac. I've got myself befuddled. You can download us on iTunes. You can send us reviews on iTunes. We already know that Black Lace gets very tongue-tied, so you don't have to tell us. Facebook, A Worthy Opponent, AWO Hearthstone is where you find us. And, you can type to us there too, and we will respond to you, possibly read stuff on the air also from Facebook. You can like us that way too. Stitcher Satellite Radio, Google Plus, A Worthy Opponent. Special thanks to Holosuite Media for listening to us, keeping us going, and being there for us. And their new website is absolutely phenomenal. That's going to be coming soon, if not actually live yet. And theme music provided by Awesome City Limits. Thank you for letting us play your lovely music at the beginning of our show. So I am Black Lace, and I am wishing you all, for the nice warm week coming, happy hearthing.
The end is coming.
Autumn's Bane sits in silence.
You probably went out to go get a lottery card, a lottery ticket or something.
Ooh. Yes.
I win $52 a year playing the lottery, or
Not playing
rather,
the lottery.
not playing the lottery. $1 for each week I don't play,
There you go.
because you know my luck.
Thanks for tuning in to tonight's broadcast of A Worthy Opponent, a production of Holosuite Media. Join us next week at Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And be sure to check holosuitemedia.com, iTunes, and Stitcher Satellite Radio for our remastered shows and more. You can follow us on Twitter at A Worthy Opponent. Or if you have any questions or comments, please send an email to awohearthstone@gmail.com. Welcome to our inn.